Yeah, welcome to Practically. This is Nagarani. Today we are going to learn an interesting topic. In our earlier class, we have come across different revolutions in the country, in different countries, especially Europe. Okay, today our class continued with revolutions, that is the rise of nationalism, how the revolutions lead for the further movements like in Europe, and what sort of changes have brought in Europe during these revolutionary periods. Okay, so let us have a look over the rise of nationalism in Europe. So from where we are going to begin it. It continues with the French Revolution. Once again, we will have a continuation part of a French Revolution. Thereafter, then we go lead into complete Europe and how different countries have completely got independent, in the sense they got liberty, freedom, and established a republican government. Okay, so let us have how this process have took place, and let us have a discussion over this rise of nationalism in today's class. Here was a picture for you all. Dear students, please just look at this image. Yeah, it's an image. You can see an image over here. Okay, you can see an image over here. In this image, you can see different countries' flags over here. I hope you can see different countries. There was a huge queue. People are following towards the liberty. Okay, so it says it's a procession where the people are holding their flags and marching towards the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty resembles or symbolizes the freedom, the countries which are coming towards the liberty. The main intention of this image was that the countries were moving forwards towards the liberty. The Statue of Liberty resembles it. It catches a torch in one hand. The other hand, you can see a charter, which has been a human right charter in her right hand. Okay, so there are the different countries, the countries which have passed away, in the sense it resembles that they have secured independence. Okay, the countries like USA, France, Switzerland, they have attained their independence, and these are the countries which are moving towards the statue, like Prussia, Austria, Britain, different countries we will be seen in this image. So this image, especially you need to focus as per the NTSE, who has painted this picture. It's a series of painting. Okay, it's a 4 series of painting. It's a 4 series of paintings. 4 series of painting, and the painting name is Democratic and Socialist Republic. It was painted in 1848 by a person named Frederick Sérieux. Frederick Sérieux, he has imaginated the countries, and he has painted this series of painting. In a series of painting, it's one of the painting. You need to note this point, children. There are different countries moving forward to this. You can note the countries in this areas. Yes, just look at this image. United States already passed. Switzerland follows. Then France. Okay, and the next sequence, either the different countries you can find here this procession of people holding their flags and moving towards the Liberty statue. And you can also see here the crowns. So these crowns are to end the despotism of kings. To end the despotism of kings, these crowns resembles that they were, this ring of the painting says that the crowns which are fallen down and a new era begins. It's a dream of worldwide. This Frederick Serieux has described this picture, this painting, as a world dream of worldwide. His dream of worldwide, which are resembling democratic and social republic countries. Okay, so in sort of this part of lesson, we will be learning about how, see, in the previous session, we have come across the sudden changes, how the people started knowing about the rights and all. But in this part of lesson, or in this part of topic theme, we know about how come the people have known about their individual rights. Okay, especially individual rights and colonial rule and imperial rule, different concepts we will be come across in this part of lesson. Okay, let us have a look how democratic system was also came out. And the most important is nationalism. The oneness or the system of where people believe that one identity, common identifications were came out among the people, which is called nationalism. The spirit of nationalism has been developed during this particular period. So in part of lesson, we'll learn from 1848, that is after 1815 to 1871 period, we learn in this part of lesson. Let us have a closer look. Here was a question for you all. What do the saints, angels and Christ symbolizes in the Ethiopian vision? About the picture, see students, here you need to a closer look over here. See, you can find saint, Christ and different angels were viewing this image from the over sky. Okay, so this symbolizes what? The Ethiopian vision, a new form of vision, a new form of government. Okay, so that was shown, the question was based on that. Please answer this. What do the saints, angels, Christ symbolizes in the Ethiopian vision? In part of Ethiopian vision, what it was symbolizing? Equality among the people, fraternity among the nations, freedom of the nations, resentment against the nations. So which one of the option will be the right answer? Yes? Anyone? Just look at the question once again. You can have a look. Equality among the people, fraternity among the nations, freedom of nations, resentment against the nation. Which one will be symbolizing the Ethiopian vision? The actually which is existing is monarchical form of government. Okay, it's a monarchical form of government existing. But whereas new form of vision, that is Ethiopian vision, which was not really existing. Okay, which is not absolutely existing. Okay, so here it says that your answer is fraternity among the nation. So it resembles that different nations were showing a fraternity among their nations, and in the Ethiopian vision we can say that it's a fraternity among the nations. Let us have another question here for you all. As we have discussed in the previous class, in the previous session regarding the French Revolution, there was a common identity. People started thinking about different types of ideologies. Even we have discussed in our previous class like liberalism, radicalism, conservatives, and different types of how the people of French were existing. So let us have a question on the French Revolution, that is La Patria. What did the idea of La Patria and the La Citoyen signifies in the French Revolution? Okay, the options are the motherland and the children, the fatherland and the citizen, the community and the citizens, the state and the community. Which one resembles these two words? The La Patria, Les Citoyens. Citoyen. So these two words resembles, one word represents the one and the other one, the next follows. Okay. Can anyone answer? Yes. Here was your answer. The answer is the fatherland. Patria, in the sense in the French language, it's father, fatherland. And citoyen means it's nothing but in the French language, it is in citizens. Okay, so this is in the French Revolution. Let us once short recapture of French Revolution. See, this is the Bastille demolition during the 1789, which was a popularized incident in the French Revolution. So during the French Revolution, the idea of nationalism has spreaded in the countries. Okay, not only in the France, different countries, this idea was been spreaded by different traders and different category of people have like Jacobin clubs and all. They have carried this message or these ideologies to different countries in the Europe. Okay, so especially like what we have studied like La Patria, La Citoyenneté, these different types of commonness ideas were spreaded. Even during the French Revolution, people have designed flags for their nations. They have designed songs to the nations. They, through their songs and operas and all different culture, tradition, they extended their nationalism through those cultural and traditions also. And along with that, they started commemorating the people who has been sacrificed their lives for their nation in their struggles towards the nation building. Okay, so like that, different ideologies have been spreaded during this period of time. We can also say that there are people started thinking about a new ideology of oneness. Okay, first thing is common identity. People started thinking of one common identity. See, in the country, they feel that we are of common, we are of same category of people. Okay, so that type of ideology was developed during the French Revolution. Okay, along with that, we can also say that you can see here. See, the French Revolution has spreaded the ideology. You can see the flags here. You can find the French Revolution want to liberate the people. The French Revolution brought the concept liberty, equality. First main outputs of the French Revolution is to end monarchical rule, and it introduced the people liberty and equality. So out of these common identities were also one of the things. They started wars against different countries to extend their rights and all. You can also have a look over this image. And in the previous session, we have come across different concepts like coming with in the French Revolution, that is just a recapture here. I would tell you 1789, that's the French Revolution. Okay, in 1791, the French has established a constitution for their country. Okay, the constitutional monarch, the king powers has been reduced, and that's called as constitutional monarch. And even this constitutional monarch was dismissed by 1792 to 93, that Jacobins have took under their control, that is its head Robespierre. Okay, and it's called the period of 1923 to 24, especially till 94, we can say that it's a called reign of terror. Okay, and from thereafter 1794 to 1804, officially it was under the directorate. It was under the directorate, and it's nothing but it's a military control, and that military commander was none other is the personality Napoleon Bonaparte. You can see the images of Napoleon Bonaparte. He was a person, Napoleon Bonaparte. In these three images you can see this is a person, a military commander. So later on, officially in 1804, Napoleon was declared as a king. Once it was a republic here, the French was republic, it was again came into a monarchical form of government again. In 1804 to 1815, the Napoleon was under the Napoleon control. Okay, so when Napoleon was spreaded in the France, especially we are reading about French Revolution. Okay, so from 1789 to 1815, it was under control of Napoleon, but officially from 1804 to 1815. Okay, so here in 1815, in his whole journey, in his whole control, okay, he have brought several changes in the Europe continent, and due to this changes, he have redrawn the structure of Europe. Okay, he have extended his territories. Okay, in these areas, especially, he introduced a system called continental theory. His target is to occupy complete Europe. So through his continental theory, he wanted to extend different territories in the Europe, and in this process, he have went to different, he have brought some policies, and through some civil codes, he have brought some changes. Even we will discuss in detail. And after coming to the 1850s, during the 1850s, when the Napoleon was spreading all over the Europe, the other nations, bigger nations, especially Britain, in Europe, Britain, Austria, France, and Russia. These four major countries, Austria and Hungary was in those days, it was a combined nation. Okay, so these four nations, they form into alliances. And they form into alliances, and they planned a plot to defeat Napoleon. As if we leave the Napoleon like this, he may take control of complete Europe, and we cannot do anything. Okay, so in such cases, these four bigger nations, they form alliances, and in 1813, first time they have plotted against Napoleon at Leipzig. Please be noted this place. Leipzig was a place. Okay, Leipzig War. We can say that it's a Leipzig War. In the Leipzig War, Napoleon was attacked by these alliances. Okay, when these alliances tried to defeat, and they have even succeeded, Napoleon was defeated in the Leipzig War in 1813. And in 1813, he was defeated, and he was kept in an island called Elba. From there, in the Elba Island near Africa. From there he escaped and he come back to the France again. And he reformed his military. And this news was known to this alliance again. So this time they have strongly plotted to defeat this Napoleon. Okay, so in this second time, that is 1815 at Waterloo, which we have discussed in the French Revolution. At Waterloo, this time Napoleon was completely lost to the alliance group. Okay, so at Waterloo in 1815 he was defeated and he was kept in another island, Elena, in Africa, sorry, in Pacific Ocean. Right, so this is about Napoleon history. Now let us see in detail what policies he brought, what policies the Napoleon has brought. Napoleon has introduced a code called Civil Code. Okay, it's also called, the code is called 1804. From 1894 his rule, but the code was introduced in 1804. Okay, please note it, this, it's also called as 1804 Civil Code also. Okay, so Napoleon introduced this civil code. Under this civil code he has brought some policies, he have brought some changes wherever he extended his territory. The point number one to be noted, children, he have abolished the whatever the privileges in the French society, the third estate, first and second estate privileges, has whatever the privileges they have by birth, those privileges were being removed. Okay, he have abolished, he made everyone by birth, everyone have the common privileges. So common equality. Okay, he introduced equality here. Okay, and he established equal before law, everyone are equal in front of law, and he have guaranteed the people the properties even. Those days the people do not have a property right, even they were limited to certain extenses. Okay, so that right was also given to the people. And he simplified administration system, he simplified the administration system in that especially like feudal system. You can also say that feudal system is one of the system which is existing in the Europe. Many of the peasants' lands were occupied with these feudals, and they were unable to clear their manorial dues. So in such cases, their lands were being taken by them. Okay, so this feudals system was abolished, and the manorial dues, whatever the manorial dues are there for the peasants, that was being cancelled, and the peasants were distributed lands also. Okay, and there are few more points. These are the major 5 points. Along with this, he has made a few other points also. Please be noted, he have removed the trade barriers even. He have removed trade barriers. He have nationalized, commonized, that is standardized weighings also. Standard weighing system also he introduced. Why? Because in Europe countries, one place to another place, while they were moving, their currency is different, and their customs unions were also different from one territory to other territory. So in that areas he have standardized the ways, and he have maintained a custom unions also. From 32 he have 30 custom unions were existing, but that 30 custom unions he have changed it into 2 unions. Earlier we come across a concept called Jalaverin. Jalaverin was initially introduced in Prussia, but Napoleon has brought into a view during his reign. Under this custom union, that is 30 custom unions were being shorted to 2. Okay, so that was also, and he have improved transport and communication also. Transport and communication also improved during his, and he have made common currency also. Okay, so these are the different tasks, different changes brought by Napoleon. So when all these changes have made by the Napoleon, as ever, wherever he goes to different countries, wherever he is going for different countries, these countries, they welcomed him. So wherever he go to extend his territories, he want to occupy the territories. In such cases, those people, they have welcomed him freely. They think that Napoleon is doing is bringing the liberty to people and all, and he believed in such way, the people believed him that he was an harbinger of liberty. If they felt that he was a harbinger of liberty. Okay, so they welcomed him very happily, but later on they became hostility towards his administrative system. Let us have a question here, children. A large number of people were hostile to the Napoleon Code because why? Why the people have become hostility towards this Napoleon Code? In the beginning they were very happy, but why they were? It was not suitable for all people. It destroyed the special privileges of the ruler. Administrative changes did not go hand in hand with the political freedom. None of this. Which one will be the right answer? Can you guess? Yes, Srinivas Gaud? What's your doubt? You can text me. Yes. Okay. So, you can have a look. Your answer is administrative system was not went on in hand. This will be the right answer, children. Okay, why? Because as soon as he went to the different countries, he have extended his territories, not only with France, different other countries also he have extended, and in that courses of time he has as soon as he went, he have limited the powers of local people. That means administrative powers were not given. Okay, for point number 1 to be noted, children, that is the administrative system was not went on hand in hand. That means political powers were not given. Political powers were not given to the local people. Okay, that means if one's political powers does not exist among the people, so definitely they were in the hands of some other foreigners. Okay, people definitely feels that they were not having freedom. Second thing is economically. Economically also drawback is that they don't have a right. Especially he have introduced taxes more. So once the taxation has increased, definitely it becomes a burden to the common people. Okay, so the second reason is taxation. Economically and politically, people have felt that they become hostile, they became enemy towards this Napoleon Code. Okay, point to be noted: political power and political reason and economical reason. Please note these points, children. Political reason is that administration was not going in hand, and second is taxation. Okay, next you can have a look over this slide, children. Yes, yes. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, new conservatism after. And here you need to be understand. See, till now we have discussed about in 1815 Napoleon has been lost his war. Okay, he was lost a war in 1815 by the alliances. Once again, come to that point. Okay, so in 1815, once the alliances has took the power, okay, took the power under their control. So once all the countries, what are the countries, children? Can you text that countries' names? What are the countries? Just now we have discussed, which has formed into an alliance and defeated, they defeat Napoleon. Yes, Britain, Austria, and Prussia. Okay, so these nations, they have formed under one. They have, as soon as they have won the war, they have gathered at a place called Vienna. It's called Vienna, was the capital of Austria and Hungary. Okay, Austria and Hungary in those days. Now we can say that Austrian capital is Vienna. So the treaty, the agreement which is done at the Vienna, the city, okay, so this is called the Treaty of Vienna in 1815. Point to be noted, children, when was the Treaty of Vienna took place? It is nothing but it's 1815. So during this period, in this agreement, they have made some changes. After the defeating of Napoleon. They have redrawn the structure of Europe. So they have distributed the lands which was occupied by the Napoleon, that is France. Okay, so let us see now, after the defeat of Napoleon in the Europe, okay, the governments were driven by a spirit of conservation. Again, you can see here, Britain, Russia, and Prussia and Austria, they have drawn up, they have formed an agreement called Treaty of Vienna in 1815. The main motto of this agreement was to restore in the France after the Napoleon. They want to restore the monarchical rule again. Okay. Well, when the Napoleon was ruling, it's a military rule or dictatorial rule. Okay. But whereas again, there was a monarch form of rule and they re-established again the Bourbon dynasty. That in 1774, Louis XVI was the ruler, no? So, after him, Robespierre after Napoleon Bonaparte. So, after Napoleon Bonaparte, when he was defeated, he was restored by again the Bourbon family member, Bourbon dynasty person. The person name is Louis XVIII. Louis XVIII. So the Louis XVIII was the ruler, was restored. Restored means again the powers were given to the Bourbon family member by this group. They have discussed in the Treaty of Vienna. Okay, so they restored the Bourbon dynasty, the first main change which was done in the Treaty of Vienna. And next they restored, you can see here, restore of Bourbon dynasty for point number 1. And the point 2, the territories which are taken by Napoleon was taken back. And among some of the nations, like we see the Napoleon has made there were small territories in complete Europe. There are number of small nations, small territories. So the small nations he have, especially in German Confederation. Okay, today we are saying Germany is one country, but in those days this Napoleon has made smaller nations into a bigger nations, like 13 bigger nations he have formed, and he renamed it as a 13 states of confederation. We call them as German confederations. Okay, so this confederation was untouched. The other lands were been, whatever he occupied, no, those things they have distributed. But the confederation which he has made, German confederation of 39 states, that was untouched. It was led that with France only. Okay, so that was not taken from the France. Point to be noted, children, which was untouched, which was not taken by France by these alliances, is nothing but that is 39 states of German confederation. Here distributions, let us have a distributions also, a clear picture. First thing is Russia was given Poland. Russia was given Poland, point to be 1, and Prussia was given a western territories which is called Saxony, and the French was not to extend a French, they have made a specified boundaries also, and Austria was taken some of the place which is called Italy. In Italy, North Italy, which is the places called Lombardy and Venetia. So completely North Italy was under the control of Austria. So in further you need to be remember this, Lombardy and Venetia. Today we call a Venetia as a Venice city. Okay, so these two places of Italy which are there like this in Italy, top places these are, and Austria will be just aside like this. So these two places were under this Austria control. So let us have a look in detail. We will learn in the Italy unification. And coming for, so this is about after the defeating of Napoleon, children. Okay, so after Napoleon defeat, what was the situations in the Europe? Let us have, there was also during this course of time, in the beginning of 19th century, there was also revolutionaries were increasing. The people started with the mass agitations, mass movements, and revolutionary activities were also spreaded in different countries. One of the important personality in Europe we will be learning about, the Mazzini. His person name is Joseph Mazzini. He was in one of a famous personality, and we will learn about in detail how this Mazzini have lead a role in the country, in Italy, in helping some. Italy was completely under different countries' control in Europe. It was only a small region was under their control. So how this person has helped in the unification of that country, we will learn in detail. First, let us have his own information, that is, he was born in Gioia in 1807. Okay, so he, as soon as he was came to 24 years, when he was 24, he have attacked on a place, and it's called Lithuania, Liguriia. At Liguria, he have went on with the one revolutionary activity. At these areas, for that revolutionary activities, he attacked on that place. For that incident, when he was 24 years, he was exiled from the country. Exiled in the sense, exiled means thrown away, or let him out of the country for few years. Okay, so from when he was in the exile, okay, he joined one organization which is called Carbonari. Please note this place, children. Carbonari is the secret society. It is a secret society. See, especially revolutionaries means like you have known the present day Maoists and all communist people. Yes, so like that type of activities will be there existing in the revolutionaries. Okay, so first secretly they attack, and these people fight for the people. Okay, especially farmers, workers and all. Okay, so he was a member of this Carbonari. Okay, but later on he himself has formed two secret societies. See, point to be noted, children, that is, he was a member of one of the secret society means Carbonari. Okay, if the question is What are the secret societies formed by Mazzini? When the question comes, that is, you need to be noted that the secret societies are, one is the Young Europe, Young Italy, okay, Young Italy and Young Europe. These are the two secret society. One is at Marseilles. Marseilles was a city which is famous city in the France. Okay, and Young Europe, it is in the Barren city. It is in Europe, Italy. Okay, so at these two secret society, he encouraged the people, he have initiated the revolutionary activities, he trained the people and in the revolutionary activities. So what is his role in the Italy? We will learn in the unification of Italy. Now let us have a look over here, Europe after 1850s. You can have a look over this map, children. You can see different countries. Green one, Prussia, a blue Austrian Empire, the France violet one, Piedmont and Sardinia, there was a Russia, German states, boundary of German Confederation. Okay, let us have a look of this. Once after 1815, after the Treaty of Vienna, this was the situation of the nations. Okay, you can see Russia over here. So whatever the Poland was existing, you can see over here, the Poland was given to Russia. This is Italy, children. You can find over here Lombardy, Venetia. This were Austrian Empire. Holy Roman Empire. Okay, so Habsburg, especially Austria means Habsburg Empire. Habsburg Empire. Okay, so this Lombardy and Venetia was under the control of Austrians, which are been under the control of Napoleon, but that was taken by Austria. This Saxony, you can see here, it was given to Prussia. Okay, so you can see here a boundary over here, the violet line. This is nothing but the German Confederation. You can see the German Confederation, children. Okay, and you can also see the Prussia. This is Prussia, children, the light greenish one, Prussia. Today Prussia is nothing but the present day Germany. Okay, so here we will learn about main role of Prussia, how Prussia has got unification, that means German unification we will learn, and how Italy states were under different countries control, different foreign monarchical control. So how the Italy has got unification, and Great Britain. You see here it's a Great Britain, children. You will have a Great Britain structure like this. Okay, so these majorly how these unifications were done we will learn here. And this Treaty of Vienna was headed by Austria. Please be noted this point. The Austria king, they were called as Duke. Okay, a Duke Metternich. Duke means nothing but it's king. Duke Metternich. Okay, Metternich was a duke who have conducted the Treaty of Vienna. Under his supervision, the Treaty of Vienna has been conducted. Okay, so we says that the Vice Chancellor Duke Metternich has a person who hosted this meeting, Okay, so they have redrawn and they redistributed like this. So let us have a look. Now, so let us have a discussion here. Ages of revolutions. See, not only this France, Britain, Russia, there are different other countries also. Several revolutions have taken place. By seeing France, see, there was a statement given by a person. I will tell you regarding France that you need to be answered over here. And let me have a question first for you all. Here you can see, who has marked when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold? The rest of the Europe catches cold. Option A, Metternich. Option B, Joseph Mazzini. Option C, Louis Phillips. Option D, John Gottfried. Who was a person who has given a statement regarding France that when France sneezes, I hope you know what is sneezing. Okay, so when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold, in the sense that whatever things happens in the France, the rest of the people also will follow. So this statement was given by one of a person. Just can you guess among this? Yes? Okay, your answer is Metternich. That is Duke Metternich of Austria. He has given this statement that whatever happened in the France, all the European countries starts following that. Okay, you can see. Let us have a division of the revolutions first. So mainly in Europe, 1830s and 48 was an intensified period. During this course of time, many revolutions have taken place. Okay, so what are these revolutions? Not only in the France, different countries started inspiring by looking at France, and they started some revolutions in their countries. Okay, so let us have a discussion. The first one is why Metternich has given that statement means in 1830s already there was the Bourbon dynasty kings were been replaced. That is 18. Louis 18 was replaced in 1815s. Okay, please be noted, children. 1815s, the Louis 18 was replaced, but he was unable to survive. People were not accepted him. Later on, there was Charles also, and after Charles in 1830s time, from 1830s to 1848, France was under the control of Louis Phillips. Okay, so when Louis Phillips was ruling, there was intensified situations in the country and people were unable to accept him, and there was a process called plebiscite. You please note this word, children. Plebiscite is a process, especially in the European countries, whenever the people do not like or accept a king, they keep a referendum like. Okay, they take a voting among the people and they decide whether they accept that king or not. Okay, in such cases, in this through plebiscite, they can remove the power of king even. Okay, so there was a process of plebiscite even here, and they were not accepting Louis Phillips, and this time this is called in 1848 again, once again, second time, the France was got republic. We can say it's a second republic. See, in 1792, it was once republic. From 1792 to 93, it's first republic. And in the France 1748, the France got second republic from Louis Philipps. Okay, you can see that next by seeing the France, remaining countries also started fighting for that power. Okay, so let us see why. I'll show you yeah, this is about a Greek. Greek was one of the nation which was under the control of Ottomans. I'll show it on the map once for you all. See, this is the Ottoman, children. Okay, Ottoman Empire, an Islamic country. Okay, under Ottoman, Greek was one of the nation. You can see here. Okay, so Greek was under the control of Ottomans. So in this Greek, there was a war. People started a revolution. As whole Ottomans were completely Islamic nation. Okay, there was an Islamic nation, but Greek, most of them are Christianity and all religious issues, and they do not want to exist with the Ottomans. So by seeing the France, these people were also fight. There was a revolution here. Many changes have come in the Greek, even from 1823 to 1832. It's hardly of 8 to 10 years there. After struggle, they achieved their freedom. So let us have a question here, children, for y'all. See what happened at the Treaty of Constantinople in 1832. In 1832, it's a Constantinople was a place. There was an agreement took place. Let us just, it's related with the Greek. Can you guess the answer? Revolutionary nationalism in Europe spark of struggle for independence among the Greek began. Greek was recognized an independent nation. Europe civilization and mobilizing public opinion to support its struggles against the Muslim empire. So these were the which one of the option has took place in the Treaty of Constantinople? Answer is the Greek was recognized as an independent nation. So after 1832, the Greek got independent by inspired by the France, and they got independent from the Ottomans, and through an agreement called Constantinople, and it was a place, I'll show you. Constantinople was a place between Asia and Europe. You can find it over here, which is a present day Turkey. Sorry, can't tell you. I think here some place like this. Okay, so which is a place we called it as a Constantinople, present day Turkey place. Okay, Istanbul. So this at this place agreement was done that Greek was independent. It's called as Treaty of Constantinople. Okay, so that's about by inspiring France, the Greek got independent. Okay, so many liberals revolutions were also taken place during this movement. Like one of the example is Greek. Even the Belgium was which is under the control of Netherlands. Belgium was given to Netherlands. So there also they have strived for getting independent, but they were unable to succeed. Even Poland also, people have fighted against the Russian government or Russian monarchs, but they were unable to get independent. Okay, so during 1830s, there a series of revolutions took place, and there was also a development of different concepts. We will learn here the romantic imaginations and national feelings through culture, traditions, and different types of activities. People started inspiring them. Okay, so through their activities, through their songs, through their art, they started inspiring the nationalistic feelings. So especially one of the important thing in the romanticism is that it's a literary movement also, we can say. And most, if you say as per the English literature, we can say it's a literary movement, but as per our content, we can say it's a cultural movement. Romanticism was a cultural movement which inspired the people, the nationalist feelings. Okay, during this Romanticism, many great persons has written their, like the person's names like Kurpensky, John Gottfried, John Gottfried. So these are the different persons. They, through their Korpensky, he has written some oral songs, folk songs. Through his songs, folk songs, operas, through music, he inspired the people, especially in the Poland and Russia issues. Okay, and Gottfried in Germany, he wrote about common people, Doll's Walk. Das Walk. It's aware about common people. So through their sculptures and through their art and culture, they have spread the ideology of nationalism among the people. Okay, so this is about the romanticism and imagination. Let us have a second concept, that is in the age of revolutions. We can say in the second stage of a romanticism, imagination and national feeling. In that, please note this, children. Das Walk, its the meaning is common people. The German philosopher Gottfried. Through their vernacular languages, that means local languages, through their local languages, they inspired the people through their songs and folk tales. Okay, one of the important person is Grimm brothers. Even one point to be noted, children. Grimm brothers. These people also have written a series of folk stories and editions, folk editions they have printed, and they spread the ideology of national feeling. Okay, so this is about romanticism. Coming for the hunger and hardship. The second concept is hunger, hardship and popular revolt. And see, where there is a hunger among the people, definitely the people, when they are struggling, hardship, definitely people will revolt. Revolt in the sense they fight against the people who are dominating them. Okay, so through hunger and hardship, we can say that during the 1830s to 48s, there was some revolts also took place. For that, one of the example is the situation at Silesia. Okay, so here the situation is that you can also say that there or contractors, weavers were forced by a contractor, and contractor was not paying wages to the weavers, and he was through his dominance, the people were completely intolerable to his behavior. So in such cases, and they were not paid at all, and completely people were already struggling with the less wages, hunger, hardship, and they were not accepted to pay more even, and their work was all every time assigning the new work, and weavers were completely depressed. So through that frustration, they have went against the contractor, and this was a mass attack on this contractor, and they attacked his house and they destroyed their things which are there in the house. He was just escaped from his house, and he to save his life, he went to the neighboring village, and the next day he has came with his people, police and all, and he shooted the people. Many of them have killed in that revolt. Okay, so that was an incident which was a hunger hardship example. Okay, next comes with 1848 liberal movement. Especially we will learn here about liberal movements is that about Germany. Okay, so in 1848, okay, in 1848, coming now with, till now we learned about France and different other countries. What are the situations? By seeing France, how they have been lead their revolts and all, we have come across. Now this situation, different countries, liberal movements were been spreading, and they were forming organizations, liberal organizations were been developing, that is national assemblies were forming in different countries. Okay, so even in Germany also, German means the first we will learn, we call with the name Prussia. Please point to be noted, children. That means before it was unified, it's called as Prussia. Okay, after it was unification is done, once the territories were gathered, then it was called as Germany. Okay, so Prussia in 1848, even in the Prussia itself, the revolutionaries activities and liberals were started fighting for their rights, and especially middle class people. Okay, they started forming a national assembly in 18th May in 1848. They formed one national assembly in Prussia. So that time the king who was there was Frederick William IV was the Prussian king at that moment, that is in 1848. So when this Frederick William was offered as a king in 1848 by the liberals, but this Frederick William was not accepted, or he rejected the post. Why? Because he was a conservative. He do not like or do not accept the liberalism or liberal concepts. Okay, they wanted to live in the monarchical form. Okay, so he rejected it and he went and supported the monarchs of with other countries. Okay, so from here, from 1848, this liberal movement will be initiated in the Prussia, that will be carried out by one of the famous personality in Prussia, and which lead for the unification of the country. So here one more point to be noted, this National Assembly which was formed, it was of 833 representatives gathered at a place called St. Paul Church. St. Paul Church. It's in Prussia. Okay. In St. Paul Church, 833 representatives gathered, and they offered a king post to Frederick William IV, but he rejected it, and the National Assembly continued. Okay. So under the name of National Assembly. So one more point to be noted here, in Prussia, the German parliament was called as Diet. Point to be noted, children. Okay, now let us have a look. This is about 1848, about Greek independence, a role of culture promoting the nationalism. See, culture play an important role. Please note these points, children. Important role in creating the nationalistic feelings among the people. Okay, common culture as a basic of the nation. Folk culture, folk songs, folk poetry, and folk dances show the spirit of nationalism. We can also see that they were promoted. The idea of nation was expressed through songs, stories, and poems and paintings. Also, some of the paintings were very famous during this particular period. And vernacular languages, that's nothing but local languages, were used to create a national identity among the people. Point to be noted, children. Next, Romanticism was a cultural movement which has promoted the nationalist feelings, and it has glorified the science and reason also. It has glorified science also, and it gave importance to emotions, institutions, and mythical feelings. Please note this point, children. It supported the common culture as a basic of the nation, and it made folk tales, folk songs, folk dances. One more time here, I can see here. Okay, see Romanticism ka picture. This is about polis, mazurka. It's a type of a dance. John Godefroy is a herder, and the person who has written Das Walk. Das Walk. It's nothing but common people. These are the Grimm brothers. They have very famous in the print. You can see the hunger hardship during 1830s in Silesia. Here was a question here. During the German independence, a person who have a poet, English poet, who was organized funds. He have gathered some funds and even fight for the war in the Greek independent. The person name is identify here from option A, Lord Byron, Mazzini, Metternich, and John Godefroy. Can you guess the answer? The answer is Lord Byron. Please note this point, children. The Silesia picture. Next, this is the St. Paul Church. You can see that in Germany, that is Prussia, at St. Paul Church, this 833 delegates or representatives have gathered, and they offered the Frederick William IV. Okay. And so the main interesting personality, important person who have played a major role in the unification is Otto von Bismarck. Okay, who was an architecture of German unification? The answer is Ottoman Bismarck. Ottoman was an empire and Otto von Bismarck was a person. Please note this point. Ottoman was an empire, Islamic, and Otto von Bismarck was an architecture. That means a main person who have designed or who have made the country formation. That means unification, unifying the territories which are under different controls. So this is done by Otto von Bismarck. Let us have another question here. In which year Kaiser William? See, the Kaiser William was a Prussian king. See, who was proclaimed as a new German empire. After the German unification was done, this Kaiser William was proclaimed as a king. Okay, so when was he proclaimed as a king? In 18 January 1872, 18 January 1871, 18 January 1870, or 18 January 1873. So answer is this one. Okay, so 18th January, you can see your answer is 18th January 1871 was the date and time at a mirrored palace. That is Versailles Palace in Paris. You can see the image here. See, the Kaiser William, after the unification is done, he was proclaimed as a king of German Empire in the Versailles Palace. Okay, that is Kaiser William. Kaiser is the king. In Germany, they called as Kaiser. Okay, Kaiser William is different, and Frederick William was different. The person who was offered at the St. Paul Church as a king, that person is different, and this person is different, Kaiser William I. Okay, so this is the person who was. So how this unification was done by this person, Otto von Bismarck. Okay, let us have a look. How did he reunification have done after unifying Italy? How did he do it? Okay, let us have a look about Prussia. Then this, we can use this map. Yeah. Okay. See, now this is the Prussian territory, the green one. Okay, so the Prussian territories, most of the they were unsatisfied. In the Treaty of Vienna, Austria has manipulated, and it has kept many of the lands under their control, and in that process Prussia was unjustified. So to that Prussia wanted to gather its places which are there with the different countries. So let us have what did this Prussian prime minister, that is Otto von Bismarck, has planned a diplomatic system, and he gathered East territories which are under different control, and he drawn the German Empire, complete German Empire under his control. So let us have look now how Prussia unification was done, especially 7 years of struggle. 7 years of struggle with major three wars. Finally, unification was done under the supervision of Bismarck. Okay, so let us have a look. How this Bismarck unification was done. Okay, here you have a see. Let's have a look over this map, children. Okay, this is a German, Prussian country. This is Prussia. So complete unification, complete which are under German Empire, the Prussia wanted to take it control. At the same time, even Austria was one of the bigger nation during that particular time. It was also trying to take German Confederation under its control. Along with that, Britain was also, at that moment, Britain was one of the important nation, and during this time industrial revolution was going on, and 50s to 1900 industries were rapidly developing. Britain was completely engaged with that, and for goods and all raw material, it was depending on countries. To isolate the Europe, Britain, Prussia planned it, and against the Australia also, diplomatically Otto von Bismarck have gathered its places in different areas. So within 3 wars, let us have a discussion. The first one, see, in the first one is war with Denmark. Okay, the war with Denmark, in this process, that is the Schleswig and Holstein, these are the 2 territories, independent states, which were under as independent states. Okay, so at this moment in Denmark, a Danish kings, okay, a Danish ruler has come into a throne. A new king has ascended the throne. So in such a movement, these Danish rulers try to take control of this to Schleswig and Holstein. When this was known to this German Diet, this then Prussia proved that Denmark was trying to take control of Schleswig and Holstein. The Denmark got anger on Prussia and it declares war on Prussia. That's the war number 1, that is Prussia-Denmark war. Okay, in this war, Prussia won the war against the Denmark, and it has took the went very diplomatically. Ottoman Bismarck has planned a very diplomatically friendly relation with Austria in the beginning, and even with Italy and with France, with a mutual understanding, and made as a neutrality, and Denmark was defeated, and Austria, not to give a support to Denmark, Bismarck has previously itself, only before the war itself, he pre-planned and offered Austria, once if we defeat the Denmark, I will offer you Schleswig. So, sorry, Holstein. Holstein will be offered to Holstein will be offered, this place was offered to Austria, and Schleswig will be taken for Prussia. So this was a condition before the war, that what diplomatically Bismarck has planned. So once they have defeated the Denmark, Holstein was taken by Prussia, Austria, and Schleswig was given to Prussia. Okay, so once after this is done, now next, actually the Prussia do not like Austria, but it has to prove that Austria was unable to handle this Holstein. In German Diet, Prussia made a plan and implemented that Austria was unable to administrate. It was unable to administrate the Holstein, and they proved in the German Diet also. So that was a tactic played by Bismarck. Okay, so in this Diet, when the Austria got anger on Prussia, and it declares war on Prussia. So that is the War II, Austria-Prussia war, or Austro-Prussia war also we can see. So in this war, again the Austria was defeated, and here, even before the war, they made some conditions with the neighboring countries. So in process of this unification, Bismarck has pre-planned all that with the friendly relations with the neighboring countries, that no other nation can support the rival. Okay, so here Bismarck has took Italy to be a neutral. In the war. Italy was offered a place. In the beginning, we were discussed about Lombardy and Venetia. No, so Lombardy and Venetia. So if you be with us, if we win the war on Austria, definitely we will provide you Lombardy. So when the war was going on, Austria-Prussia war, Bismarck suggested Austria to occupy Lombardy. So definitely Austria will be engaging, the army will be engaging with the Prussia, and at the same time the army was want to occupy this Lombardy. So it was unable to do at the two areas, and completely it has lost at the two places, and lost here Holstein, Hanover, and different places which were under their Austrian control also. Venetia was like that only with Prussia, no, Austria, sorry. So this was the second war. Next, third war with Prussia is France. Now, France have many territories, that is German Confederation areas were with France. Now, you can also see when you relate with the present 20th century beginning also, if you say take example of World War also regarding Germany and France only. that is regarding the Rhine lands, which were under the confederations. Okay, so which was taken by Napoleon. Now Bismarck he will be occupying from France, okay, in this war. So France, now their target is regarding the France. So France also wanted to directly did not involved in the war. In the case of Spain, Spain was ruled by again the Bourbon dynasty, Bourbon family members. So in the case of helping the Spain, these two people have involved in the war, and finally France-Prussia war also take places. So in this courses of time, France loses its places to Prussia. So finally the German Confederation, many places went into the hands of Prussia. Okay, even the France, some of the southeast places were also like Württemberg, and these people were also not willing to stay with France, and these were also converted into Germany only. So completely in the major three wars, and after 7 years of struggle, the unification will be complete in the France. This was important things to be noted here. And now let us go for the situation of Italy. This were the, see there in Germany, we will learn about one-man show. One-man show is that the single person lead the role, that is Bismarck. Okay, Otto von Bismarck will be leading. He was called as an Iron Man of blood and Iron Man. And let us have a look about Italy. Italy, these were the 4 important leaders, that is Victor Emmanuel, he was a king of the country. Okay, and Cavour was a chief minister of Italy, who is the leading role, who lead the unification here. And Garibaldi was one of a revolutionary, and Mazzini was also a revolutionary. Let us have a discussion here about Italy. Italy was also struggled, like it was also under different countries' rule, especially very little part, that is this and this. This is this place and these two. They are called as Sardinia and Piedmont. Only these territories were under the king. The remaining whole Italy, you can see this violet areas completely called as Italy. So only these two territories, these two lands were under the control of king. The remaining complete were under different influences. See, Lombardy, it was under Austria, Venetia even. Okay, you can see Papal State, Tuscan, Modena, these all places were under Habsburg and client kings. We call them as a client kings, okay, under their control. And Sicilies, the 2 Sicilies, this one and this one, were under Spain, under the Spain control. And there was a city called Rome. Rome was under France control. So like this, the Italy's condition were. So completely the unification went on in 5 stages. You should note this in the 5 stages. Stage 1, that is first one is Sardinia and Piedmont was the first beginning. We doesn't call it as neatly, we call it as Sardinia and Piedmont. Sardinia and Piedmont started its journey of unification. Count Cavour was a main person who lead this movement. Okay, so Count Cavour, he begins that is Parma, Modena, Tuscany, which were under some client kings. So in 1859, there was people were unwilling. There was a plebiscite, and in that process, these people were okay. So here Sardinia and Piedmont, first stage, already Lombardy, you can say that in helping with the Prussian unification. Lombardy was given in the first phase. Okay, that is Prussia war. Okay, Prussia Austria war, and Parma, Modena, and Tuscany was taken into Sardinia and Piedmont. Once the people were client kings were not satisfied by the people, then there was a plebiscite was declared, and people have not accepted to the kings to be Habsburg Empire rulers. Okay, so in such cases, the Cavour have took the control of Parma, Modena, and Tuscany. And in the third level, that is Papal States and Naples and two Sicilies. Here, in helping of two Sicilies, there was a leading role. You can say that a leading role will be taken place by Garibaldi. Okay, Garibaldi, you can have an image of Garibaldi here. This is a person, and he forms a red shirt army. Actually, he was a democratic, and he do not want to be monarchical form of government. He formed a red shirt army, and with that red shirt army, he lead a expedition. Okay, thousands to the south. Okay, and you can have a question here about him, who lead a famous expedition to South Italy and freed the state from the Bourbon rulers. Okay, under the Bourbon dynasties. So that was nothing but it is Garibaldi. Answer is Garibaldi. You can find here the Spain, two Sicilies which were under the Spain during the Prussia-France war. Prussia-France wars, or France-Prussia war also we can say. Okay, so during these two war, when France involved war with Prussia, Bismarck will suggested that Cavour to occupy two Sicilies. Okay, so in that courses of time, the two Sicilies were also taken under their control when there was Spain involvement. At the same time, when the war was still continuing with France, Rome city was under the Bourbon dynasty rulers, especially to support the popes here. Okay, so these army, when there was involving war with Prussia, they were unable to win the war. Prussia withdrew the troops from Rome. So that time, during this process, when in this process, the France control was taken back to, and the army was involved in the war with Prussia. That time, Italy occupied this Rome city. It was a final unification was done at 1871. Okay, so but you should note a point here in 1866 itself. The Victor Emmanuel was king, declared as a king before Rome was joined. Okay, so you can see over here 1859. First one, this 211. Okay, you can see that is 1859. This is the first one where which was existing, and you can find here Lombardy was in second stage, and Piedmont and Parma, Modena, Tuscany, and all these are in third, and this is Sicily is in fourth stage, and Rome and Venice was in fifth stage. Okay, so this is about Italy unification. You can find here the kingdom of Italy, Peninsula. Next, we have another question about Britain, Great Britain. Which among the following Union Act lead the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain? So when you are looking at different countries, that situation is different. But whereas in Great Britain there was no wars, but it was a bloodless revolution. Okay, there was only a fight among the people that actually you can see here. This is a Scotland, England, it's down we see Wales. Yeah, this is Wales, children. Okay, Wales, England. See, England was we can say that nobility like of people, okay, like a rich category of people, and these people also joined with Scotland with the Act of Union. With the Act of Union, when as soon as England got a republic, the Parliament tried to incorporated the Scotland with the Act of Union in 1707 and formed into a union. Later on, it's called as Great Britain. This shape is called Great Britain, and later on this Northern Ireland was also incorporated into this Britain, and due to one issue occurred in this Ireland, that is Catholics and Protestants. Then Catholics were being supported by this Britain, and Protestants were suppressed, and they are forcibly incorporated into the Great Britain. That was a bloodless revolution. We can also say that there are different changes were came in the Great Britain. This is about Great Britain have after the once the Britain has formed into unification, united, it has started its expeditions to different countries and started imperial rule. You can also say that India was also a part of colonizing of Great Britain. See, revolutions lead for nationalism, and nationalism concept, it was again connected to imperialism. That means colonial rule, which was under different persons control. You can also see that in 1871 how the Europe was intensified. Many of the places we can find that you can find here this Balkan crisis. See, Balkan was a region which was intensified, and the issue was between the Ottomans. They were unable to survive with Ottoman Empire, so they wanted to come out from that territories. So that was an issue which led for the World War. Okay, you can find here, these are the stamps which are being introduced, Germania, and this is about our topic about rise of nationalism. I hope you have benefited with this class, and try to do more practice sheets of NTSE and get all the best for all of your students. Thank you. Shining of Nagarani.